संघ चरण चल रहे।
माननीय सरकार विभाग जी, माननीय क्षेत्र संघ चालक जी, माननीय प्रांत संघ चालक जी, नागरिक सज्जन, माता भगिनी, I'll start with apology. I have been asked to speak in English, which is not the language of my study nor my practice. So I will have to put in some Hindi words from time to time, one thing. And secondly, there are some purely Bharatiya concepts which don't have any synonymous word in other languages outside Bharat. So also I will have to use such terms. So I think you will understand. The congregation is to get the information about Sangha. Sangha is a topic of vigorous discussion for last at least a decade. And when we hear those discussions, one thing comes to mind, that they are not based on facts, they are based on hearsay or some narratives or some perceptions. Now Sangha is a unique organization. It has no comparable other in the whole world. So you cannot know Sangha from known to unknown, this method. This method is not effective in knowing Sangha because there is nothing to compare with. More misunderstandings are created. A person ate payasam and was returning when a blind man, his friend, asked him, "You have come from where have you come?" He said, "I went for a feast." "So what was the feast?" He said, "Payasam." "What is payasam?" "You don't know payasam? It is made from milk." "Lekin, what is the taste?" He said, you know milk, it is white and it is sweet. "Well, I can understand sweet, but what do you mean by white?" He said, white like a crane." He said, "Crane?" "Yes, it is a bird." How is? So the blind man was given a demonstration. Crane is like this. Touch this and see. He touched the hand and he asked, "Such a zigzag payasam you ate, didn't it stick in your throat?" That is how, when we go about the affair of knowing the Sangha, if we don't have the facts, then likelihood of misunderstanding is there and it is happening. So it was thought in 2018 that an authentic information should be given. And that thought was brought into action at Delhi. And one such lecture series was there for 2 days. I spoke about, I have to speak because I am Sarsanghchalak. So, most authentic source I am. So I had to speak about that. In 2 lectures, I explained whatever I could. And then there was a question and answer session. And the event was successful in the sense that everybody got the facts. Everybody was turned towards RSS. That is not my claim. But that was not the intention. Here also, intention is not to convince you, but to give you facts so that whatever your take about RSS in support or in opposition should be based on facts, not on perception. So, when we completed our 100 years, it was thought that such a lecture series should be arranged at 4 places in the country. So Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Kolkata. This is the second happening in Bangalore. But then what I have to tell, there is nothing new I can tell. Whatever I have spoke in 2018, I have to speak it again. But one thing new can be added, that now we have completed 100 years. So what is our next step? That can be there. But the period is the same, 2 lectures and question answer session. So what I spoke in 2018 in 2 lectures, I have to speak today in 1 lecture. And second lecture will be a new matter about what we think of future. First thing, we must know about Sangha. Many well-wishers of Sangha also describe Sangha as a reaction to certain situation, and that is not the case. Sangha has not been born out of reaction or opposition. Sangha is there to fulfill a compulsory need of every society. Sangha works in Hindu society. Society must be organized. That is the normal state of society. When we say a particular individual is living at such and such place, when we get this information, we imagine that that person is alive and kicking. It may happen that that person is in coma. But when we get the information, we don't imagine that he is in coma. He lives there, means he is there working, laughing, eating, everything he is doing. So society means organized society. It is the normal state of society. Organization of the society is not against anyone. It is not a reaction. It is the normal state, and therefore it needs to be maintained. Sangha was thought of and Sangha was implemented out of this need. We had a long history of aggressions. And last attempt to get our independence through war was in 1857. It was an all-India effort. People wanted it, and still it failed. So naturally, thinking people of our society started thinking, why did we fail? We were in our own country. Our vast majority was ruled by a minuscule minority of foreigners, British. We had our kings. We had brave leaders like Jhansi Ki Rani, like Tata Tope. Country was united for this one cause. And still we lost. So what is lacking? Some said, it is matter of time. In this battle we failed. We have to battle again. We have to keep the war going. We have failed in this battle. We have to prepare and again fight. That stream, it continued till 1945. And Subhash Babu allegedly died in that fire accident of the plane. In 2 years we got independence, so need for an armed revolt was not there. Actually, Swatantriya Veer Savarkarji, he concluded his Abhinav Bharat in a function, saying that now it is our government, so we don't have to have this armed rebellion, etc., etc. That stream created so many heroes. We still remember them. We still receive our inspirations from them. And it is a matter of pride for us, ever living inspiration for us. There was another stream which thought we failed because our masses are not politically aware. Traditionally, our kings and our soldiers used to fight. We used to carry on with the normal affairs of our day-to-day living. There was Dharma Yuddha. But those days have changed. Common man has to be aware politically. And to create that political awareness and create the need to agitate for independence, the political movements started. First was the Congress, Indian National Congress. Actually, it was created, it is said that it was created as a safety valve. But our leaders used it to create an effective weapon, political weapon, to acquire independence. And then that same stream further continued and gave rise to so many political parties. The armed revolutionaries, they kept moral of our society high. They kept the flame of patriotism burning in the hearts of Bharat. The political movement created the courage to come out and say Vande Mataram, say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So even common man, whatever he was doing it for the independence. Charkha chala chala ke lenge swaraj lenge. That sort of urge was created from within whole of the society. That is their contribution. But after we got independence, somehow that inspiration was gone. And then what happened to the politics of our country, I need not describe, you are witnessing it. There was another stream which said that our society has some defects. There are superstitions. We are too much in our tradition. It has to change with the times. There are so many reforms to be done. Unless we done those reforms, we cannot fight the British. They have progressed. They are up to date. They are scientific. We don't have that. So there were so many reform movements, starting from Raja Ram Mohan Rai ji, or even before him, persons like Vishnu Bhuva, Brahmachari, etc. They started so many things. But somehow, movements were all right, their leaders were respected, but reforms were not accepted by the common man of the society. So, reform movements became an island in the sea of Hindu society. They could not change much. They did commendable work, commendable research, innovative means they gave us. But the desired effect was not there. And there was still fourth stream, which said, we have forgotten our roots. Go back to roots. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, creator of Arya Samaj, Swami Vivekananda. These two figures prominently figure at the head of this movement. Go to our roots, know ourselves, and serve our society. That also continues. It is very relevant. But then to be active in the reformation, in the independence, that did not happen somehow. The founder of Sangh, Dr. Hedgewar, had participated in all four types of works. He had only one mission, to work for the country. when he went for medical education at Calcutta, he actually was sent by the leaders of the Nagpur. We call him born patriot. And the leaders in Nagpur saw the spark in him. So he was sent to Calcutta. He had no means. He lost his father, mother on the same day when he was 11 years old. There was no source of earning. So somehow he continued with his education, always stood in first 10 in his class. And second thing he continued with all his life was Deshabhakti, working for the independence of Bharat. Whatever means are available with them, he used to participate in all movements. He organized Vande Mataram movement in the schools of Nagpur. So whenever inspector came in, he was greeted with Vande Mataram. So the British inspector, school inspector, he was angry and he shut down all the schools of Nagpur. For 4 months, police tried to pinpoint the individuals who were behind this, but they could not get anything. Ultimately, the guardians, the government, they come together and they decided that with a nominal apology, schools should be allowed to start. When student enters the school, a teacher will be standing at the gate and he will ask, so it was wrong, no? Then he should just nod, yes, it was wrong. Okay, that is sufficient apology. But there were 2 students in Nagpur who refused even that. And therefore they were restricted. One of them was Dr. who later became Dr. Keshav Hedgewar. But he continued privately in the national school and appeared privately, stood in first class. So leaders of Nagpur sent him to Calcutta for medical education. Medical education was the eyewash for the British. He was given the task to contact the Coordination Committee of Revolutionaries, that is the Anushilana Samiti, and establish the revolutionary work in the western part of the country. So he went there, he had his education. There also he stood in first class. And he did this job also to the perfection. He became inner core member of the Anushilana Samiti. In books written by Raj Bihari Basu, some details are given about him. His code name was Cocaine. There was one real person named Cocaine Chandra Chakravarti in Chandan Nagar, who was under French. So he was given his name. Once police tried to find that cocaine and arrested wrong cocaine. That also happened. All this is mentioned. He was given the charge of the area from Rajasthan to Andhra. In this area, revolutionaries, he had to settle them, he had to supply the arms, he has to generally supervise their activity, carry out many things. But that revolutionary movement also fizzled away due to some inherent faults of individuals, not of the movement. Then there was Congress agitation going on. So there was a movement in 1920. For that, he became a doctor. There was a job for him ready to go to Burma and serve there as a medical doctor. 3,000 rupees. That was the payment. But he told his principal, I don't want to go there. I don't want to earn money. I have resolved to put this life to the task of serving Bharat Mata. About my own career, I will think in next birth. He came back. His uncle asked him about marriage. He said, no, I will be brahmachari throughout this life. And he participated in the Home Rule movement. He went from village to village, delivered speeches, and generally awakened the people in the support of the movement. Naturally, he was arrested and tried for sedition. So in the trial, the usual way was not to give defense, to accept that, yes, I have delivered the speech and whatever comes in the form of punishment, you have to go through it. He said, I will give my defense. Because in those days, even media was allowed in courts. He said, I will get one more chance to give speech. And there will be media, so it will be spread everywhere. So he gave his defense. The judge, sentencing him for 1 year rigorous imprisonment, commented in his judgment, his speech of defense is more seditious than the speeches for which he is being tried. Because he started with a question, which law gave the British right to rule Bharat? Is there any such law? To remain independent is a fundamental right of every praja, every public. And I told that only. I did not speak against anyone. I told people to be independent and I told them how to be independent. You say you have got some reports, but your reporters, they don't know Marathi. I spoke in Marathi. My meetings were largely in the evening. There were no lights in those days, no electricity. How could they hear me and how could they write? And how could they understand Marathi? So, this is illegal government. This is illegal court. I don't accept this judiciary. Everything is illegal. I have committed no offense. I don't accept your justice. That is why this comment was made. He was such a fireman fellow, dedicated to only one task. So, whatever was going on in the country for the upliftment of our people, for liberation of our people, he participated in everything. In political movements, in dharmic movements, in social reforms, everywhere. And naturally, he came in contact with the leaders of the movements. Gandhiji, Subhash Babu, Dr. Ambedkar, Chandrasekhar Azad, Rajguru. Actually, when Rajguru was underground, he sheltered him in Nagpur. And when vigilance in Nagpur increased, he sent him to Akola and advised him not to go to Pune, but Rajguru somehow went to Pune and was arrested. He was actively participating in everything and he was having discussions with all these. Madan Mohan Malviya. And then he was also observing, he was also thinking. And he found a common thing which all those leaders thought. That common thing was, we have picked up an issue and we are working for its resolution. A day will come when this issue will be resolved. But there is no guarantee that issue will not rise again. British were not the first aggressors. It started from Shaka, Huna, Kushana, Yavana, then Islamic aggression, then British aggression. So repeatedly we were conquered by the handful of aggressors which were barbarians compared to us. We were wealthy, we were brave, we had armies, we had everything, and we had to fight it on our terrain, in defense. Still we lost. That means there are some inherent faults in our society, which were not there previously, which have crept in. What is that? We have forgotten who we are. Who we are as a Bharat. I know who am I. I know my family. I am its member. I know my caste. I know my language, I know my province, but I don't know my country. That was the condition. Atma Vismruti, we call it. In spite of all this diversity, we have been a nation since very hoary times. Even history cannot count those years. When history opened its eyes, it saw our nation in full splendor. So, we have forgotten that. And therefore, when something happens to part of our society, part of our country, we say, okay, it is so far away, I need not worry. Let it come here, then I will see. Naturally, when we forgot who we are, we forget who are ours. We forget our own people. We treated a section of society worse than animals because we forgot they are our own. Our diversities became dividing lines, defaults, faults. So, we have to remove this Vismruti. We have to make everybody remember who we are. We have to remove all these differences, Bhedas. And our tradition is we create unity without disturbing the diversities. Rest of the world thinks that for unity, uniformity is necessary. But our tradition is to think that the diversities are the decorations of unity because they are expressions of unity. Unity expressed through many individuals in many conditions at varied periods of times. So naturally forms are many, but the matter is one. In this manner, we have to organize our society. The quality and unity of society makes the miracle. There are leaders, there are ideologies, there are various sadhanas, various means, but they only help. They are not the cause. The cause is metal of the society, merit of the society, unity of the society. So everybody thought like that. We have to have this, but we cannot apply ourselves because we have picked up our own issue. Some were fighting for independence, some were for dharma jagriti, some were for reforms. They made it their life work. So someone should do this. For example, I give one example. Read Swadeshi Samaj, written by Rabindranath Tagore. He says that if we want to get ourselves liberated from the British yoke of slavery, first we have to become who we are. We are aping the British. That will not help. Secondly, this deliverance would not come through the politics. We need social awakening. And the social awakening will not come through the speeches. We have to have exemplary social leaders locally. He called them Nayaks, who have transparent character, who have living contact with everybody in their area, who are completely selfless, working for the people, living for the people, and command explicit faith of the society in them. Such persons have to be created. You will find something like this mentioned in Hindu Swaraj also. When question was asked in Hindu Swaraj, it is a question and answers book. A young fellow asks elder many questions and he answers it. So that young fellow asks, but due to British, There was so much contact, railways, etc., post offices. They have networked the country. So the elder, that is Gandhiji, answers, this is one of the myths the British themselves have created. We were one country much before the British came. So we are a nation from hoary times. We have to remember that unity. We have to get organized. We have to do away with all the faults that have crept in our individual character as well as national character. As a society, we have to have that quality. Someone should do this. So Dr. Hedgewar thought that so many personalities have applied themselves to various issues society was dealing with at that time. This one issue which fulfills everything has been left untouched. So I will experiment and I will try to unite the society. So for about 10 years he experimented with this. And then when he was confirmed in his mind that this is the methodology through which this can happen, he asked his young compatriots, he told them about this, and he let them experiment. So actually, we are now in the centenary programs of RSS, because we say that RSS started in 1925. But maybe RSS started in Dr. Hedgewar's mind before that, in 1915, 1916, like that. He made his experiments. He reached a conclusion, but he never told his colleagues that this is the conclusion, we have to work like this. He said, experiment. After Sangh was started, till 15 years, all these things were tried by the young Karyakartas of the Sangh inside the society. And they all experienced this and came to the conclusion that this is the way. In about 1939, this methodology was fixed. That methodology is Sangha. He said Sangha is not reaction or opposition. Sangha has come to fulfill, not to destroy. It is not in opposition of anything. Dr. Hedgewar himself in a Bauddhic Varga says that deeply considering the ways and means our ancestors used to unite this society and make this country whole again, we have studied it in detail and deeply, and removing all the shortcomings, we have found this way. That was exactly the process. So, this Sangha was started. Dr. Hedgewar he called a meeting on the Vijayadashmi day, 27th September, Friday, 1925, and he announced that today this Sangha has started. He didn't say, I have started. He said, this Sangha has started. Because it was his firm conviction that this is Ishwariya Karya, God's work. So that has come. It is a very natural response of the society to this situation. This has started like this. And then people asked him, okay, now the inauguration ceremony is over. What next? He said, now sit down and think what next. He never dictated. Everything with his own experience, each Karyakarta learned. Because it was a true method, because everybody was honest, had no other stake. They just wanted to make this country independent and prosperous again. They reached the same conclusion through different experiences. The methodology of organizing the society through man-making. Why society? Because as I said, leaders, they do help. Policies, they matter. Ideologies, they also matter. All these things are helping. They are not the main thing. The society has to be there. It accepts. It works. When all these things, they come into realization. So, Dr. Hedgevar said, I will get away from politics, current politics, vote politics, power politics. It will not help. It will divide. Also, a political party will not allow its volunteers to work for this freely, because it is also constrained by various political constraints and restraints. One has to work freely, without any pressure on mind. Whatever is true, whatever seems fit, he will be able to do. So we have to have a separate, apolitical organization. When we think of the country and its affairs, we have to think of politics, but we need not participate. We don't participate in politics. We participate in Rashtra Shakti. National affairs. We are concerned with that. We try to influence that, now that we have strength. But Dr. Hedgevar said, politics will not help in this. So, a political organization of the society. Not an organization, powerful organization, a powerful pressure group within the society. No. To get the prosperity of the country, to achieve that, whole of the society has to work in one direction. A group cannot do it. As I say that leaders cannot do it, parties cannot do it, ideologies cannot do it, even Sangathan, organization like RSS alone cannot do it. Whole society has to become RSS. So Sangh is organization of the society, not in the society. That is why it is expanding. Now we have a strong presence in country. But we are not satisfied with this, because whole society has to be organized. We have to work many miles ahead again. So organization of the society through man-making. Because the quality of men influences all the affairs of the family, and unit is the family. But again, family is led by persons. So, both individual character and national character has to be in place. Only individual character does not help. When we see individual character, Mirza Raja Jai Singh was a person of high character. He used to perform daily Parthiv Puja. But nationally, he helped Aurangzeb, who destroyed the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So he was a man of character, but he lacked national character. And persons with national character, if they have faults in their individual character, they cannot maintain their national character also. They may lead society astray. And this has to be carried out in all the society, so method has to be inexpensive, very simple. So this method is there. Come 1 hour daily to Shakha. Perform very simple exercise, have some small games, sing some songs, hear some stories, learn by heart the prarthana, subhashitas, etc., etc. Remember our country. When you come to Shakha ground, leave everything outside. Your problems, the situation, scarcity, this and that. No, only Bharat Mata. The Sangha Prarthana starts with Bharat Mata Namaste. Namaste Sada Vatsale Matrubhume. God comes second. Prabhu Shakti mein Hindu Rashtranga Bhulta is later on. And it ends with Bharat Mata ki Jai. So train yourself to think for 1 hour only about Bharat Mata, only about the sons of Bharat Mata who are with you. Don't look from which source they come, to which caste or province or language they belong, whether they are economically at par with you or different. Don't think this. They are your brothers. Play with them. Play in the soil of Bharat Mata. Forget everything. Shed away all tension. And just make the bhakti. This will create those qualities, individual as well as national character. This was the theory. When Dr. Hedgewar started Sangha, for others, this was the theory. Many said Dr. Hedgewar has gone mad. With children, he is playing and he says, we will make our nation prosperous. That is not going to happen. But after 100 years, nobody dares to say that. They say no. Sangha is a force. Sangha has effect. And we expect Sangha to be effective more and more. Or some say, Sangha is a menace. Don't go on their simplicity. They are very, very poisonous thing. That also we hear. But in 100 years, the opposition which come out of lips, it has not come out of hearts. Hearts are with us. In our opponents, they know what we are. And because we want to organize all of this society, we don't mind opponents. Nindaka niyere lakhiye angana kuti chhawaye. Tulsidas ji said, my detractors, I will give them place in my angan. I will construct a hut for them. They will lodge there. Because if they keep on pricking me, I will always be aware about my shortcomings. I will not let any fault creep in my nature so that they get chance to criticize me. So we think they are also useful for our work in a way. But this Sangha continued and it has only one goal. Bharat Mata ki Jai, for that, organizing whole of the Hindu society. And it is very difficult to understand. Once a Lama was standing on a hillock and gazing in the west. So people below the hillocks, they started guessing what he is doing in gazing the setting sun. Oh, he is there for observing the sunset, beauty of the sunset. Another man said, no, I don't think so. Sunset is there always. I have never seen him. Today he has come, not for sunset. I think someone related or someone of his acquaintance will be coming. He is waiting for him and seeing from the west where he comes. Another said, no, I think there is something else. There is some sadhana like Tratak. That is what he is doing there. So fourth fellow, he shouted and asked the Lama, are you there waiting for someone? Someone who is coming from that direction? Lama said, no. Oh, then you are observing the beauty of sunset? No. Then you are doing Tratak there? No, no. Then why are you standing there? Because I want to stand here, I am standing here. Because I want to see in the westerly direction, I am. Nobody believed him. That is like that. When organized force is raised in the form of Sangha, it doesn't want power. It doesn't want prominence in the society. It just wants to serve, organize the society for the glory of Bharat Mata. Somehow in our country, people found it very hard to believe. But now they believe. Why Hindu society? That was another question. Because Hindus are responsible for Bharat. What is our country? It is not that British gave us nationhood. We are an ancient nation. So, everywhere in the world, people agree that every nation has its core culture. There are many inhabitants, but there is a core culture. What is the core culture of Bharat? That is, whatever description we give, it leads us toward Hindu. For example, Babar came through Punjab. At Sherpura, he massacred all the people. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was there and he has described it. Turkesthana khasmana kiya, Hindusthana daraya. The first time the word Hindu was uttered by a saint in Bharat, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And then he describes that Hindu women lost their Sheela and Muslim women lost their Asmat. Now he said Muslim. Why? Because it is clear. Those who worship only Allah and nobody else, those who follow the edicts of Quran, those who have explicit faith in Paigambar Sahab, they are Muslims. This defines Muslim. But then he said Hindu. Now what did he mean by Hindu? There were Vaishnavas, there were Shaktas, there were Shaivas, there were Jains, Buddha, everybody was there. One kind he denoted by name, Muslim. Because Muslims say we are right, everybody else is wrong. But there were others also, which can be described in this manner, but together they were called Hindu. Because they say everyone has his own path. Respect others. Respect the diversities. Accept them. Stay fast on your way. And live together, go together. You need not quarrel. Because your paths are different. Being different doesn't make you separate. All those who thought like that, they were grouped in a single word, Hindu. That is what we are. If we describe Bharat, how will you describe it? Not geography. Bharat is also a nature. If we read the preamble of our constitution, what will you say? That is the exact description. And this content was traditionally named as Hindu. And therefore, Hindu society has to be organized. Now we say there are 4 kinds of Hindus in our country. Hindus who say, yes, we are proud Hindus. There are Hindus who say, we are Hindus, all right, but what is there to be proud, especially of? Everybody has a pride. And third kind is, they know they are Hindus. Inside their homes, if we go, they say, yes, we are Hindus. But publicly, they don't admit because they are afraid of losing something, votes or something. And there are those who have forgotten they are Hindus. So in examination paper, when we write answers, we solve easier questions first. So unite this society, whole society. Actually in Bharat, there is no Ahindu. All the Muslims, all the Christians, they are also descendants of the same ancestors. They don't know it. Or they are made to forget it. Everybody else knows that they are Hindus. That is what we are. Because Hindu is an inclusive word. Those who live in Bharat, they think like this. They respect and accept every diversity. That is why they have been named Hindus. That we could do because our ancestors found the connection between humanity, whole creation, Some call it Atma, some call it Brahma, like that. So, though we appear separate, different, we are not. We are expression of the same unity, and it is the supreme goal of every individual to find that unity and to be happy, because it yields everlasting happiness. That is what every Bharatiya religion says. Every Bharatiya darshan, it starts all is one, and it culminates into Yama Niyamatmak Acharan. Satya Himsa Aste Aparigra Brahmacharya Tapa Shaucha Santosh Swadhyaya Adi Adi. Every Bharatiya religion, every Bharatiya ideology, it is like that. This is the common feature. That is why everybody inside is Hindu. And why we could do this? Because Bharat was protected and Bharat was prosperous, naturally prosperous. Our Bharat Mata gave us ample portion, and it also gave us the sanskar. It also gave us the time to think. So we turned our gaze inward and found that truth. So being Hindu means being son of Bharat Mata. Being Hindu means being a believer, not only believer, a man who tries to realize this, to experience this, to go and actually see. In our traditions, there is no faith. I tell you this is so, I have seen it. You can see if you try. How to try, I will teach you. We don't ask to believe, experience. That was our tradition, because Bharat Mata gave us all this. And so the dharma, not religion, religion is a way of worship. Dharma is Satya, Karuna, Shuchita, Tapas. These are the values arising out of that truth. These are dharma values. On that basis, we have this Sanskriti. Dharma is not religion, and Sanskriti is not culture. Culture is cult. Blindly following a hero or a particular example. That is not Sanskriti. Through generations, who has preserved this Sanskriti? At the time of Ram, 12,000 years BC, whatever the norms of character was there, established by Rama. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. And that continues till date, through generations. That method is sanskar, and the creation of sanskars is Sanskriti. So everybody in Bharat, all denominations, Bharatiya and foreign, they have Bharat Mata as their own. Even the Muslims, वतन की मुट्ठी भर मिट्टी जनाजे में नहीं पड़ती तब तक जन्नत नहीं नसीब होती. So there is no other go, Bharat. Knowingly, unknowingly, everybody follows the hoary tradition of Bharatiya Sanskriti and outward expressions arising out of that. And we have common ancestors. Everybody knows his Vansha. I find Christians and Muslims who tell me their Gotra. They have preserved those memories. So nobody is a Hindu. Every Hindu must realize he is a Hindu. Because being Hindu means being responsible for Bharat. That is why organization of Hindu society, and that is why Bharat Hindu Rashtra hai. It is not contradictory with anything we are doing today. Not contradictory with any system we are doing today. On the contrary, This confirms you. What we are doing today, the Samvidhan we are following today, that confirms you in that. This is Sangha. And this 100-year journey was not easy. Because when Sangha started, this vichar, Hindutva, was not was not in vogue. It was PAS, P-A-S-S-E. People said Hindu is a dying race. Hindutva is something old. There was no acceptance of the vichara. Dr. Hedgewar had no means, the usual means we employ when we start some work. There was no publicity. There was no power, government. On the contrary, government was always opposing the Sangha. Dr. Hedgewar was not a famous leader all over the country. In and around Nagpur, he was known. But he was not an all-India leader. His personality was not in that sense very impressive. Sangha had nothing, no Karyakarta, nothing. But sheer dedication of Dr. Hedgewar towards this ideal, that created men with the same dedication. And with this ghor, upeksha, ignorance. Sangha was ignored, but through this ignorance, Karyakartas could bring out Sangha. No means, a pracharak was sent to Bhagalpur. So, some 5 rupees he was given. 3 rupees, 12 annas, that was the railway fare. So, he had that Sawa Rupiah for his expenses. He remained in Bhagalpur for 3 years. Nobody knew him, he knew nobody in Bhagalpur. Dr. Hedgewar didn't know anybody in Bhagalpur. So he lived in the Patna-Bhagalpur local, which used to come on station at 10 o'clock and used to leave to go back to Patna on the 5 o'clock in the morning. So he used to spend his night in that train. And there were facilities on the station. He used to use it for his morning course. And then for a day he used to roam in Bhagalpur. He knew nobody, so where should he eat? So 1 anna, 1 सेर चना मिलता था. उसमें 4 बार का खाना करना. So when Shaka started, one of the Bal Swayamsevaks, he asked him to come home. There was some vratam and a Brahmin was needed to be fed. And he was Brahmin. So he brought him to home. Mother of that Bal Swayamsevaks, while she was feeding him, inquired about him. And she knew that he is postgraduate. He doesn't get any pay, nothing. To organize the society, he has come here and there is no place where he can go and eat. So she, in a way, ordered him, you have to come here between 11 and 12 daily and take your food. If you are not coming and having your food somewhere else, you have to send because if you don't eat, I am not going to eat. So that tradition continued till that family was in Bhagalpur. When I went there in Bihar as a Kshetra Pracharak, I went first time in Bhagalpur. The conditions had changed drastically. I was residing in a eye doctor's home, a lavish home, and there was first day bhojan there. Our Vibhag Sanghchalak was there. We started and he didn't come out at the table. I said, come, have your meal. He said, no, I will go back to home. No, why? He will, I am here to see that you start your meal. Then I will go and report in my home that the pracharak, there were 4 of us and all 4 were there. Pracharaks have started their meal. Then only my bahus and my wife, they will eat. That continued. He told me this story. He was in class at that time. He was the boy who invited that preacher. These were the days. We came through that. And then we fears for about 60, 70 years, we faced fears of opposition. No voluntary organization in the world has faced this. There were 2 bans. There was 3rd also, but it was not much of a ban. There were opposition, criticisms. Sangh were murdered. In every way, it was tried that we should not thrive. But Swayamsevaks, they give their all to Sangha. And they don't want anything in return. And on that basis, we have mastered all these situations. And now we are in a state where there is some credibility in the society. Everybody loves us. Everybody is ready to help us. There is another thing which helped us survive. We didn't take any help from outside Sangha. Finances, Sangha Swayamsevaks contribute to Sangha. Once in a year, there is Guru Dakshina. Sangha Swayamsevaks give money, not as a contribution, as a samarpan. They dedicate. They try to give the most, maximum possible. For that, they may forego, okay, for this year I will not eat dal. Whatever money is saved, I will give in Guru Dakshina. Like that. Because Swayamsevaks are there, which are very poor also. But they also see to it that they can give Guru Dakshina and they can keep it increasing every year. They do all sorts of things for that. For service activities, for the help of the society, whatever we do, we take from society, we involve them, and we work. But to run Sangha, not a single pie has been taken from outside. That keep us independent. Nobody can exert that pressure on us. We speak whatever we think is true. We express ourselves freely. Karyakartas also, we manufacture our own Karyakartas. We are not dependent on anybody. We give Karyakartas. We don't take Karyakartas. We produce our Karyakartas. So men, money, ammunition, these 3 factors are needed. In all these 3 factors, we are self-sufficient. And this will continue in coming days also. Because as I said, we have to organize whole of the society. And what Hindu society wants to do, Hindu society, in the prime of its strength and glory, always wants to unite the world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Yogi Arvinda said, it is God's will that Sanatan Dharma should rise. And therefore Bharat must rise. Because Sanatan Dharma is Hindu Rashtra. And Utthan of Sanatan Dharma means Utthan of Bharatvarsha. And we are seeing that we are coming up. What for? We have to contribute to world life. We have a mission. Karyakarta Dadarao Parmat, his English mannerisms are very famous. So in one sentence he describes Sangha work. What is Sangha? RSS is evolution of life mission of Hindu nation. What is the life mission of Hindu nation? About that and about other things, after centenary, what are our plans, we'll speak tomorrow. Thank you for listening me today. Not tomorrow, today only in second session. So, one more long speech, you have to bear with me. And thank you for bearing with me up till now.
विराट राष्ट्र पुरुष के संघ चरण चल रहे.
So, what is the life mission of Hindu nation? Swami Vivekananda had said, every nation has a message to deliver, a mission to accomplish, a destiny to fulfill. Bharat also has a mission to give dharma to the world. We are described as a dharma prana country. Now, dharma is wrongly translated as religion. Religion is different. Religio means to bind. So, religion has do's and don'ts. It is a way to reach the truth or God. And the truth is so vast and magnificent that naturally there are many ways. Ruchinam vaichitriat rujukutil nana pathayutam nranameko gamya payasitvamasam aranav yuva. According to the different tests of individuals, there are many ways. Easy ways, hard ways, straighter ways, crooked ways. But ultimately, as water falling anywhere on earth will ultimately reach Sagar, the ways reach the same reality. Dharma is something different. Dharma is translated in many ways. One connotation of dharma is the nature of things. I had a textbook when I was studying in 10th class matriculation, General Properties of Matter. I studied in Marathi medium. So the title General Properties of Matter was translated as Samanya Vastu Dharma. Samanya is general, Vastu is matter, and properties is dharma. So water will flow, that it is dharma. Fire will burn, that is dharma. Dharma is also duty, kartavya. Putra dharma, pitru dharma, raja dharma, paja dharma. Dharma is also described as a middle path. Extremism is not allowed in dharma. All extremes are avoided. And there is a middle path. Tathagat himself has described dharma as madhyama marga. Dharma is also sometimes translated as anushasana, discipline, a particular way of doing the things. Sabba papasya akaranam, kusalasya upasampada, satchitta paryodapanam, ete buddhanusasanam. This is Buddha's anushasana. Not doing any papa, any evil thing. To lead the life so that you don't disturb others, that is kusalasya upasampada. And all the while purify your mind, your intellect, your chitta. That is Buddha's anushasana. That is Buddha dharma. And dharma is also that which sustains. Dharanat dharma ityahu dharmo dharayate praja. Is it needed? I, as a Bharatiya, I may say, Bharat has to prosper and Bharat has to give dharma. But who wants that dharma? That is the question. And for that, we have to see what today's world scenario is. There is much progress in the world, especially with the advent of science 300 years before. Many amenities have been created by the science. Our knowledge of physical world has increased many folds. We now go beyond solar systems. And we go beyond particles. So both ends, smallest and largest, is within the bounds of our knowledge. Science has project, health has become an easier subject. Everything. People are benefiting from that. But still, problems are there. New problems are coming and old problems remain. Every human endeavor has started to create happiness in the world. Sukha. We run after sukha. We go after happiness. That is the nature of our world, nature of every animate, inanimate thing. But we are running and we don't have that. We have amenities, we have suvidhas. Life has become easy. There are so many aids we have created to make it easier. But the happiness eludes us. There is no satisfaction. There is no santosh. And so, in ancient times, there were wars. Wars continued. The First World War destroyed many things. And sane people of the humanity were shocked to see that destruction. So League of Nations was created to bring peace. But Second World War happened. So it was resolved and there was United Nations organization. It is continuing, but wars are also continuing. There is no now clearly on the battlefield, one army, this side, another army, that sort of war is not there. But conflicts are going on. World arsenal can destroy 10 worlds like this. So much potent arsenal humans have amassed. What happens if there is an accident? We better not imagine. These things are continuing. The narrowness of mind, enmity, seeing difference as separateness, all these things, they are there. They are continuing. There is no abatement. And therefore, people are thinking now, because lots of experiments went in. For last 2000 years, humanity has experimented to bring that happiness. But every experiment had given incomplete result. I will not say they have failed. Every experiment has done something. But it did not come true to the expectations. Results were incomplete. And that is why old problems continue, new problems arise. So there was some who denied God. There were some who said God is the supreme king. There was a way in which individual was given most prominence. There is a way where individual was considered only as a cog in the wheel of society. Samajwad, Samyavad, everything has been tried. And now people realize that something is lacking. That thing which is lacking, it is the cause of this incompleteness of success of humanity. Now we have complete knowledge of our bodies, our minds, our intellect. But we don't know which connects these three. Body needs some sweet. I will be happy if I eat sweet. But at the same time, I want to eat that sweet with dignity. If someone says, I will give you one peda and I will hit you my shoe once, as many as shoes you are able to bear, I will give that one. Well, I will deny, no. So different happiness of these three, how can we connect it? To earn money for our family, it's happiness. We go out of our house at 6 o'clock and come at the night. So the very happiness we deny by remaining outside. Our children ask the mother when there is some holiday and I am at home, who is this new person in our home? That happens. So, what connects these? Individualism is growing. So, families break due to ego problems. Societies, various communities, they conflict. And when society is kept under discipline as one, individual liberties are suppressed. Humanity, when it prospers and develops technology, environment is destroyed. And those who want to preserve the environment, they oppose all development. Because we don't know what connects individual, society and nature. So we want to fulfill all our ends. Means are limited and ends are endless. That is the first sentence of our economic science. So we earn and earn. But we never learn to be happy. Always mad race is going on about that. So there is this artha, procuring means, and there is kama, fulfillment of desires. But if you want to earn, you have to forego your desires. And if you want to satisfy your desires, you earn less because you spend more. And if you want to have salvation, liberation, mukti, moksha, you have to forego all this. You cannot have all the three things simultaneously. Because we don't know what thing connects these. It is said that long back, humanity, researching after truth, a section of humanity concluded that whatever I can see, I can feel with my sense organs, that is the only truth. There is no point in going further and searching for truth elsewhere. So they stopped researching and they said this Material happiness is the everything. And therefore, materially when we see, we are all different. So, when we are different and ends are endless and means are limited, there is competition. So, those who are fit, they will win, they will survive. There is struggle for existence. There is survival of the fit. And therefore, because though earth has enough for everyone's need, it cannot satisfy our greed. And being separate, we are not sure of our safety and survival. We amass everything. So we extort it from the natural resources. So there is extortion of nature. And we are always keen to have our rights satisfied, rights obtained. We are not that keen on performing our duties. And this continues. What they tell us, the world is like this, if you like it or not. Be fit and survive. Don't worry about others. You have to survive. Because after death there is nothing. As long as you live fully, enjoy fully, and live as long as you can, at the expense of everything else. Before 350 years, this change came into human society. There was a film, The 11th Hour, and various scientists from many countries and heads of the administration, etc., spoke in that. That film was about nature, climate change. And they unanimously expressed one view. As long as we didn't have means to exploit nature, we lived with nature. We used the flowing energy, which is always replenished. But after we progressed, we had science, and then we got the means to go deeper into earth, and we exploited the stored resources of our earth, which are never replenished after we spend them. So the knowledge which should bring happiness and more surety of survival to humanity brought us the destruction. So what is the way? They said in that picture that we have to live with the nature, we have to have the restraint. Why should I have restraint? If I want to become happy, and all of you are different from me, separate from me, why should I worry? I will be happy. Whatever happens to you, I have no concern. Because there is no link between you and me. Fortunately, as I said, we were Sujalam, Sofalam, Malayaj, Shitalam, our ancestors. We had every natural resource within the bounds of our country, and those bounds were in a way fenced from the rest of the world. In those ancient days, nobody could cross Himalaya and come into Bharat. Nobody could cross the seas and come to Bharat. So we were safe. And we had plenty. So we had no cause to fight. We didn't have any aggressors. And we had time. So where world stopped, we did not. He said, we don't get that ultimate thing, absolute reality, which cannot change by seeing outside. We have to see inside. And we started seeing inside. And after many tapas, we found that thing, which is inside everything in the creation, animate, inanimate. That we call Atman. Whole universe is pervaded by the same Atman. Science also says consciousness. That consciousness pervades everything. Consciousness is not local, it is universal. And everything started with a pre-existing universal consciousness. Science is talking of it now. There is a branch of science, noetic science, that researches about that. But our people had, in the very ancient past, our rishis, our munis, they had this realization. By reaching that truth, then we lack nothing. There is permanent satisfaction. Everything we want, we can have. We don't have to quarrel. There is satisfaction. And this thing, that principle, that reality is all pervading. Actually, everything comes out of it and goes back into it. So everything that appears changing, impermanent and different from each other is actually manifestation of the same indestructible, Shashvat we call it, permanent, absolute reality. So to be happy, we have to have sakshatkar, realization of that reality. And therefore, we have to have restraint in our life. We have to have the attitude of giving back, attitude of sacrifice, tyaga. All these things are necessary. That is the way to live. And then, if everything is mine, because everything has come out of the same thing, which is in everything, that is Atman. You and me are the same, we appear different. That is a question of seeing. As long as we see each other as different. You had your coffee in the interval or your alpahar in the interval, I had mine. Because you had coffee, that doesn't mean that I need not take coffee. I want to have my separate coffee. But in our household, some sweets are made and children come and they finish all the sweets. There is nothing left for the mother. Mother says, okay, you have eaten to your full, I am fulfilled. I don't want. My stomach is already full. How that happens? That is this realization of oneness in its simplest, crudest form. That oneness connects everything. It connects our sharira, mana, buddhi in form of Atma. It connects individuals, society, srishti, that is nature, in form of parameshti or parabrahm, whatever you call. And it connects our artha, kama and moksha in form of dharma. Dharma is the balance. We have to have balance. Dharma is for everybody and everything. All. We say maximum good of maximum people. Our Bharatiya tradition says, Sarvepi sukhinas santu, sarve santu niramaya. Not maximum, all. Therefore, every manifestation of this unity, which is diverse, it has its own speciality. And that is valid in the entire scheme of the world. You cannot call it bad or good. That is your perception. But everything has a role. And dharma is the balance which gives you capacity to balance all this. A very old story, every one of you might be knowing it in our tradition. There was one Shibi Raja. And in his court, a dove came flying. That dove was very frightened. And it said to the king, one hawk is chasing me. It wants to kill me and eat me. Please give me asylum. So Shibi Raja gave him asylum. He hid in his robes. Then hawk came and he asked Shiviraja, did a doe come here? I am hungry, I want to eat that doe. I think it has come to you. Please surrender it to me. Shiviraja says, no. He wanted asylum, I have gave him asylum. He is my praja. Now it is my dharma to protect him. I will not let you eat him. And hawk says, you are talking of dharma, but nature has given me the dharma to eat the doe. I am not a vegetarian like you. I must eat meat, otherwise I will starve. You are starving me. You are creating hindrance in observing my dharma. And you are talking of dharma. Dharma is not like that. Dharma is for everyone. Dharma is everywhere, creating happiness, fulfilling every need. Now, if we think legally only, what is the answer? Shiviraja should surrender the doe to hawk. Otherwise, Shiviraja should kill the hawk. Or Shiviraja should let the doe go free and let the hawk chase him. Whatever will happen, happen. That is the only answer. Materialist view can create laws for the well-being of everything. But they have a limit. They cannot answer this really. Shiviraja invokes dharma and he says, you are right. It is your dharma to eat meat. Your dharma doesn't say that you have to eat does only. You want meat, okay. Doe has to save his life. It will be allowed. You want to eat meat. I will allow you to eat meat. You take my meat of the same weight and satisfy your hunger. Your dharma will be protected. Doe's life, it will be saved. And my dharma to protect the doe, that also will prevail. That is dharma. That is balance. And for the balance to be restored, human beings, being the supreme in the creation, on the top of the ladder, they have to give, they have to leave, they have to let go. That way of dharma has to be given to the world from time to time. And this time has come because world is stumbling. There is no answer. Actually, there is answer if we think in the way of dharma. But that dharma has to be lived. And a prosperous nation should be created on the basis of dharma way. Then we can, because we are told to do this, and our way was also defined. Etad desha prasutasya sakashad agra janmanat. We are agra janma, we are the oldest of the nations. And therefore, those who are born of this nation, swam charitram shiksheran prathivyam sarvanamana. To educate the humanity, not by preaching, by your practice. Leading by example, leading from within. Our ancestors once upon a time did this. They went from all over the world, from Mexico to Siberia. They went on foot. They went in small dinghies, crossed the seas, crossed the mountains. Anywhere they went, they did not suppress anyone. They did not plunder. They did not convert. They befriended every nation. They gave the knowledge they had. And if there was something to learn, they learned it from that. Ano bhadra karto yantu vishwata. That time has come again. Bharat has to rise. Bharat has to establish itself as a dharma nation. And then freely, nations all over the world, they will see us in their own way. They will define their own swadharma. They will create the prosperity for their own nation. and all the nations together will contribute for the betterment of humanity, betterment of the universe. That has to happen. What has this to do with 100 years of Sangh? I already told you, Sangh is for evolution of life mission of Hindu nation. And the first step of that evolution is to prepare the society. That is still incomplete. We have to extend our work. So, in centenary, our first concern is to take our work to every village, to every strata of the society, to every class, caste, etc. We see Hindu society as one homogeneous society, but world sees Hindu society in so many diversities. We have to reach every diversity. We have to organize the Hindu society. Whole of the Hindu society, all 142 crore people, with so many religious denominations, and some of them came from outside in the course of history. Okay. Worship may change. People are ours. So first we have to do that. So we have kept going on for the extension of our work. We have plans to extend our work to all geographical units in our country and to every layer, every strata, every kind in our society. To that end, we have started our dialogue with those who do not consider themselves Hindu. They agree that they are Bharatiyas. They also sometimes say, we are not Hindus, we are Hindavi. We have come from Hindus. They say we are Indic people. We know all these are synonyms. Hindu word we use because Hindu denotes the content. Hindu is not restricted by any form. So it can be applied to everybody who accepts all the diversities, respects all the diversities. So first thing we have to do is to take our work everywhere. Create these organizations, create individuals who will walk this talk. Because ideals are not enough. Ideals are like stars, which we can never reach. But we can plot our chart according to them. That is a saying. But when we go to plot our chart according to ideals, we see the hard way they had to negotiate. And then we say it is better not to cross that path. When we have someone like us, someone of our own level, doing that, we say, okay, that is a noble thing, and if he can do it, I will also do it. We have enough ideals, ample ideals. There is no dearth. But we have to have examples who are within us. The Nayak Rabindranath Tagore described. That work we will keep doing and we will try to complete it at the earliest. At the same time, all the well-meaning people of our society, we call them Sajjan Shakti. You are sitting here, we are Sajjan Shakti. They want something good to happen in our country. Not only that they want it, they try to do their bit. In any way they can contribute, they are trying to take this further. All may not agree with our ideas. All may not come to our shakas. All may not support us politically. There are different kinds. But if they are honest and well-meaning, they are sajjans for us. We want to create a sort of networking within such people. Because we work in our own spheres. Our country is vast, we don't know what is happening. And media doesn't inform us of all the good that is happening. Because negativity becomes news, positivity is not a news. A dog bites a man, that is not news. A man bites a dog, that is news. And therefore, in that matter, we are not informed, and many times a frustration comes. Nothing is going to happen, nothing is going to improve, all this is going to decay. Like that, it comes our enthusiasm. This should not happen, because the fact is, at least 40 times more good is happening in our country in comparison with bad that is happening. If one bad thing happens, there are 40 good things happening. And therefore, it is the time of good. Time of bad has passed. Time of good is there. And therefore, we should continue with our. For that, we must know. I am not alone. There are so many. They are working. They are also getting results. Such good things are happening. So that networking is the another plan we have. And of course, if the Bharat of our dreams has to materialize, there should be first thinking. So we want to initiate a nationwide deliberations and discussions. In what light we want Bharat to rise? How that can be accomplished? What is our role in that? How can we go about it? From individual efforts to national policies, everywhere, this thinking has to be there. A long-term planning has to be there. Piecemeal treatment cannot bring results. You have to think, because we also, all of us, have been reared in the same colonial mindset. Though I am talking this to you, I was educated in the so-called Macaulay system only. And it must have some effect on my thinking. I have to get rid of that. So I have to think. I have to pinpoint where I lack. I have to remove those. Everything I have to do. And this, as a society, we have to do collectively. The Indian knowledge system is much discussed word nowadays, especially in reference to our new education policy. What I find is most of the people understand when we say Indian knowledge system, we should bring into light that information. Yes, we have accurately mentioned this distance of sun from the earth in the Vedas. Archimedes knew later, our Bodhayan knew that world famous theorem 900 years before Archimedes. But not only that, our knowledge, tradition have many things that are applicable today even. The other day only a scientist mentioned to me, in Vrukshayurved by Parashara, he has given a procedure to predict rainfall. If you want to predict rainfall in Bengaluru next year, you, in Pausha Masa, you count per hour direction of wind in Bengaluru for one day. Any tithi in Pausha Mas. Take reading, how wind direction was there. On that basis, you can predict the annual rainfall at Bengaluru. Then one of the universities in Bharat took this project. They did this. And on the basis of they had some prediction. And the results say the predictions came 90% correct. Now we have to go through and see if there is some applicability in our knowledge strategy. It is there. Not only in spiritual science, in material science also. So this type of churning, intellectual endeavors, that has to be there and that has to be countrywide practiced so that many new ideas regarding our development in the desired direction will come out. Then also, if we have to do this, society must have an atmosphere of mutual goodwill, harmony, and positivity. Oh, nothing will happen. All politicians are corrupt. This is that. This negative talk is too much now. There are many examples on the contrary. So start from positivity and develop it. There must be goodwill. So we are thinking of taking our Sadbhavana Karya, wherein particularly the caste leaders and also heads of various religious sects at block level, development block level, they have to sit monthly together and think of three things. First, what are the efforts going on in their own caste or creed for its upliftment, getting them free of the superstitions and wrong traditions, economic, moral upliftment, all sort of upliftment. What are they doing? They should sit together and tell experiences, so others also get the ideas. There is exchange. That is one thing. Second, what we together can do to cure a problem or to fulfill some need of our development block. Together, working for whole of the society. That is the second topic of discussion. And third topic is what we together can do for the weaker caste or weaker creed in our group. If they think like this periodically, monthly, and do something about it, small tasks are there, which can be done on their own basis. They do not need any help outside. Whatever they can do with their own resources, they should do. They should resolve it and they should fulfill it together within coming month. These three things happen. Then if this happens at block level, it will not be a hidden thing. Everybody will know. Our leaders sit together and think about these three things. Nobody will be able to create any conflict within our society on any basis. Because if any conflict monger goes and talks of some bad thing, people will tell him, don't sell this, sell these goods to us. We know our leaders, they sit together, they think of us, they think of everybody, and they strive for the poor also. So don't try to incite some quarrel amongst us. That Sadbhavana we have to take up to block level. That is in our plan. And of course, such behavior will create harmony in the society, which is much needed thing. That harmony, that apnapan, because life is so diverse. And for example, we are sitting here, there are sections of our society who are deprived from centuries. So now They cannot compete with us because they are not on the same line. So we have to let go of something so that they get it and they come on the equal status with us. Now, giving something from us, if we have to give something to someone else whom we do not consider is ours, there is bickering. But if we say he is ours, we will do whatever we can for him. We can share our wealth. We can share our everything for them. That is how progress occurs. If a man has fallen in pit and he wants to come out, and we want him to come out, we will have to stoop down and he will have to raise himself. So together we can take him out of pit and he will walk with us. But that stooping down hurts the ego. And curing of ego is not possible. Only love can do that. That love, that is harmony. That harmony is created by this sadbhavana. And the impetus to bring sadbhavana, to carry on the efforts, comes out of positivity. So these things we have to do. We have to take it to the block level. And I mentioned that we have to continue with the dialogue because, unfortunately, there was no such separateness in Bharat before British tried to do it. Islam came with aggressors, okay, that happened. But aggressors went back. And the Muslims here were Bharatiya Muslims. They also considered themselves Bharatiya Muslims. So, sort of harmonization, assimilation, it caught hold and it progressed. But in the reign of Aurangzeb, he tried to reverse this process. But then eventually he failed. And again that process started. And in 1857, Muslims and rest of the Hindus, they fought with British together. To consolidate that unity, Bahadur Shah Zafar issued a farman banning cow slaughter. All these things happened. Rama Janmabhoomi did not remain a debate. Hindus of Ayodhya and Muslims, they came together and they resolved that Ram Mandir should be constructed here. We will give it to the Hindus. Seeing that, British were alarmed. They say that these very appearing, very different people and always quarreling with each other, but if a foreigner comes in them, they unite till they oust us. So we have to do something about it. And then they recognized all the fault lines in our society and tried to widen all the gaps and did some permanent things so that this bickering should go on. Now we are independent, but those reminiscences of those times, they play a very bad role. Remnants of those differences, they are playing havoc. We have to sit together, talk and dispose of it then. Yes, what happened, happened. Okay. Now we have to start a new chapter. We are one people, we are one nation, we are Hindu nation. Okay, you don't like the word Hindu. We are Bharatiya nation, we are Indic nation. Say something, but the essence is as a nation, as Sanskriti, as a Samaj. I should not say nation, I should say Rashtra, because nation compulsorily involves state. Our Rashtra concept is not state, it is Sanskriti. So, in Bharat, in our history, there were many kings and one nation, one Rashtra. We were independent, we were Rashtra. we were slaves, still we were that Rashtra. Hindu Rashtra continues. Conditions change. We are that Rashtra. Only difference is our worship. That is allowed in our Rashtra. All these understandings should dawn on the minds, on those minds who, for say 2 centuries, have been raised in the separateness of the things, deliberately, to cut them out from us. If they forget this, then division occurs. Hindu bhava ko jab jab bhule, आई विपद महान, भाई टूटे, धरती खोई, मिटे धर्म संस्थान. Why divisions occur in Bharat? Why divisions occurred? There are many reasons, temporary reasons, we can discuss in any way we want, but one common factor was there. Either there was lessening of Hindu population or lessening of Hindu bhava. There are Muslims with Hindu bhava because Muslim is a worship. This is our national identity. We have to educate these sections also. To that end, we have taken up the dialogues. We have to expand them. We have to take this message to every individual. That is another thing we see about. Then actually, on the basis of dharma, how do you propose to conduct the day-to-day affairs of a nation? We have to create small models. How a village development can occur on the dharma concept? How do you propose to provide for health of every individual? Through dharma concept. All these are the things we have to answer. And for that, we have to create models. We have already started this work. And we have considerably had some progress in that. But we have to take it further. And we have to innovate in many new ways. And we have to have contact with others who are working in these fields. With different ideas, not necessarily dharma model, but there are many things we can learn from them also. And they can learn from us. There has to be cooperation. There has to be complementation. There has to be a learning from each other. And that we have started. We have our Seva Sanghams in which we invite all such people and exchange. Give and take occurs. And then of course, when we say etad desha prasutasya sakashadagra janmana, so we have to create a life in Bharat first, which is free of all these anomalies. In Gandhiji's words, there were 7 social sins. We can find them in different degrees in every country of the world. Pleasure without conscience, wealth without work, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, and politics without principles. That is the malady prevalent everywhere in different degrees. First, we have to create Bharatiya life free of all this. And then we have to invite the world, or we have to go in outreach towards the other countries of the world and tell them, sir, we have found this way. You can come and see, study it, and whatever is applicable in your country, you can pick it from here. In the process, if you have something to teach us, please teach us. The way need not be exactly the same. Basis is same. Our gantavya, our reaching point is the same. But we start from Bharat, and we start from UK, and we start from USA, from Australia, from some southeastern country, Kazakhstan, etc., etc. So they have their own standpoint, and they have to adapt these models to their own situations. This exchange should occur. For that, a global outreach should be there. And particularly, first, our neighboring countries. Most of them were Bharat 100 years before. Actually, they are our people. But politically, they are different countries. And we honor their sovereignty and everything else. But that doesn't mean that we don't want to cooperate. Initiatives like SARC, but they are government initiatives. I am talking here of people-to-people cooperation, people-to-people. So, if our neighboring countries are being helped by Bharat in creating good life in those countries, that is a message for world. Otherwise, we will go to America and preach them about this. They will say first, take care of Nepal, take care of Bangladesh, take care of Sri Lanka, then come to us. There is nothing difficult in this. These are our people. Even in today's conditions, they have many similarities with us. Actually, they feel most at home when they come to Bharat. And we don't feel we are outside Bharat when we go there. You can travel and take the experience. So we have to do this. These are some things in our minds. First few things we have decided. We have a plan and we will proceed. But this global outreach, the neighboring countries, creating a model, national model of Bharatvarsha, definitely we intend, they are in our intention, but now we have to go step by step, create some plan, have the primary things necessary to execute it, and then that I cannot decide individually. Our Pratin Sabha decides upon that. When and how is their prerogative. As I was introduced, I think, in that I am only friend, philosopher and guide. So, in our philosophy, that is there. And we, each of us, very ardently wish to this to happen. But when to go about it and how to go about it is a matter of decision which our Pratin Sabha will take someday. And this will happen. So, after completing a century, we feel delighted. Some credit also we feel that we have some credit about that. But we know that our task is still incomplete. In a way, we completed 100 years is a matter of pride. But also, we took 100 years to come here. That is something for us to introspect. So, we have a task ahead. Miles and miles to go. So we are at it, and we expect that after hearing this, you will, in your own capacity, if you can directly cooperate with us. Indirectly, you can help us. Or no, you are doing something else which is very good. You want to continue with that, okay, that is also helping us. If you do any good deed, good for the society, good for the humanity, you are part of our work. Now, because Sangha doesn't expect you to wear uniform, except everybody. And it is impossible. 142 crore of people in single uniform at single place is impossible. We will create centers, we will create individuals. They will be the focal points. But an atmosphere of dedication for the nation, an atmosphere to work for the good of the humanity, an atmosphere to keep oneself moored to the values we have got in our inheritance. That is what we desire. And to have that atmosphere, certain expense is necessary, we have to go about it. As I said, Sangha is neither opposition nor reaction. not a temporary thing. Sangha, because it is evolution of life mission of Hindu nation, and life mission of Hindu nation is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sangha wants to prepare the society, prepare the nation to be organized and with benevolence act for the humanity is normal state of any nation, any society. I hope we all together in coming few decades achieve this status of our society, of our nation, and definitely in that achievement, we also as Sangha will have our own contribution. If you don't acknowledge it, I don't have to complain. But whatever you do, you should know these facts about Sangha and form your opinion on the basis of facts, not hearsay or narration or perception. That was the only wish. So, after telling you that, I think I should welcome your questions tomorrow. Thank you for hearing me to continuous session. For how much long time, I don't know. But I think you have heard it all. Thank you.